Okay, so we're going to start by establishing breathing. We're going to go through some walking, like I just said, and then after that, for you, we're going to do ragdoll because that's something that's going to stretch out your back, and for you, we'll do wide dog, and then maybe we'll do also another one called cliffhanger, but we'll do at least those two. All right, sound good? Okay, so for breathing, let's just actually rather than talk about, let's do this, and I'm going to do a count, and so we'll do this together. Just a couple things: into your nose, out of your mouth, and breathe not into your chest, breathe into your diaphragm. All right. So if you are breathing up here, you're likely arousing your nervous system. If you're arousing your nervous system, you're not going to get calm. So in 4, out 8. And in 4 and out 8. This is something you can do anytime. You're sitting in your car, you're getting pissed off, push your stomach out and breathe like this. If you find you're breathing and you notice that it feels like you're breathing here or higher into your chest or your sternum or your breastbone, you're not going to be relaxed and it's going to be hard to do these poses. Okay, so we're going to be doing that over and over again. Yeah, and here's a quick mind body.
I felt it.
If you find yourself up here, seriously, just push out your stomach. Just literally use your stomach muscles and push it out, and just do that because you're going to find it really hard to breathe very high, and so you're gonna tend. I find that this tends to help me calm down. Also, if you practice like when you're doing this, pushing your stomach out, you're getting a kinesthetic connection between this and calming down. And so over time, you're training yourself to say, "Oh, I'm meaning to be calming down." Because you get when you get in a situation, oh, I know what I do in this situation. This is what I do in this situation. Well, you make the situation, and it makes it changes your mental state. And I'm not talking. This is neuroscience. I'm not. I mean, we can talk about the spiritual side of things, but everything I'm talking about, there are neuroscience brain basis for it. Okay, so let's get into ragdoll. I'll do a quick demonstration, and then we'll do it together. So ragdoll, the idea is you're trying to elongate your spine through gravity. Remember, we're letting gravity do everything. So I'm going to just lean over. I'm going to keep my knees a little bit bent, sort of relax. This might be all you do today, and that would be okay. But over time, I'm going to try to relax.
I do that at work all the time.
Yes, just give up. So a couple things.
I do it at work actually when people are around. I do that.
So yeah, this is great. And then what you're trying to do is you're trying to let go, like let go of your hips, let go of your spine, whatever you're holding up here, let it go and just let it drop. When you're done, okay, now come up for a second. Let me watch this. I want to show you how once you've done this for 2-3 minutes, you're probably going to need to do this to get out of this. Literally, your back is going to be possibly sore. So I am doing nothing. I'm pushing only with my arms. And then another thing you can do is bend your knees a little bit to sort of get your weight over your feet. I actually do this. I'm not. This is every time I do this pose for 5. I do it for 5 minutes. We're not going to do it for 5 minutes. I have to push my body up. So whatever muscle you're using, you're not going to be able to use that muscle after doing the pose. Okay, so we're going to do this for 2 minutes. And I'll go ahead and keep time here. And I will do it with you. Okay, so let's go ahead and go. And you do want to micro bend in your knees. If your hands happen to be on the ground, you can put the backs of your hands on. That way you can't accidentally use your hands. You really want gravity to do everything. Yep, you're getting some articulation in your spine.
Like a bubble pop. Yep.
It was really weird.
That's what you're looking for. That tells me you're relaxing your muscles. Stephanie, have you felt anything at all?
I don't feel it in the back of my leg.
So that's another place you're definitely gonna. I mean, I feel it back there as well. If you want a little bit less of that, maybe bend your knees just a little bit and try to.
Okay, that's helping.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with feeling the stretch in your back of your legs. We're trying to target our spine though, so we don't want the discomfort in the back of your leg to somehow stop you from getting the spine. How are we doing so far?
I feel good. As soon as I pick my hands up off the ground.
So if you want a little more pressure, if you interlace your hands sort of like this and just sort of lock so that you don't have to actually do anything to hold it, they sort of stay there. That gives you a little more weight. If you can relax your stomach and your hip, you may not be able to. There are other stretches that will eventually do that will do that. So over time, you'll be able to even get deeper into this. Okay, we're right at 2 minutes. And if you want, we can hold it just a little bit longer. Are you both okay holding this a little bit longer? Well, tell you what. Let's do. Let's sort of slowly start to get out of this. So put your hands like on your shins, and literally push with your hands. Don't use your back. And when you're around your knees, it's okay to be above and below, but don't push right on your knees. Okay. And when you can, if you can, eventually straighten your back. I always am a little dizzy when I come out of that.
I'm
Yeah.
busy. I can breathe better.
Oh, actually, a lot of times what I'll find when I do this,
You know what?
it clears your sinuses because, okay, I know this sounds crazy, but again, to touch your back, right? This part of my back was locked, and what I couldn't do was, what I couldn't do was because of that I couldn't. Let's see if I can do this now. You see that sort of lowering there?
Yeah.
So if I can do that when I've got my tailbone tucked and I straighten up my spine and I do this, didn't quite do it, but this is locked and this is locked and it feels like a rock. So it's really amazing. It's amazing what you can do with your body when you know how to work.
My
So,
lower back. I felt this. So my pain is like right in here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I felt a bubble, like a
you felt the release there.
Bubble.
Yeah.
And it wasn't very loud, but it was more of like,
no,
like the best way I can describe it is like a bubble.
You're doing this. You're popping your knuckles.
That felt good.
Yeah. So that one is one you should do, and you can do that. So I would recommend for now, maybe sticking to. I'm making this up, but I think you want to spend a little bit less time and do it more often rather than a lot of time for now, just to get used to it. And then eventually, once you've gotten used to it, then you can maybe do it for a little bit longer. But I would say if you could do this,
felt really good.
Okay, yeah, that one. And in fact, I know we're off. This is not part of this since I'm working with, but there's a move in Tai Chi where we're doing let's see, kneels to the bottom of the ocean, and this is kind of the motion, like it's something like this. But I always tend to do this, and then at the end of it, I just let myself drop. And it used to be before I was doing this exercise, I could get pops like through here. I don't get those anymore because I do this. But yeah, no, this is if that felt good, do that more. Because what that's doing is it's elongating your spine, and in addition to relaxing your spine, when you pull the joints apart, it allows synovial fluid to get in there, so it's lubricating your spine. It's all kinds of goodness. Okay, so that's a good one for you. So remember this one. Okay, now let's look at wide dog for you. Okay, so the idea here is you're trying to get it. You're going to feel it in the back of your leg. Again, I did this pose for 2 years, 5 minutes a week because I did a series. So I did it for 500 minutes, and I targeted the back of my legs the entire first 2 years. So you're going to probably feel it there. Let's go ahead and talk through. So have you ever done yoga? No, it's fine if you haven't. Okay, so I'll give you so this is down dog in yoga. Doesn't matter. So what we're going to do, we start from here, and we go to a more shallow dog, right? And then we make our feet wide. That's sort of the idea of the pose. The thing, I can do this all day long. The problem is I can't really target my shoulders here. So that's why, for me, I do this option. So let's go ahead and just let's try this a few times to see if you can get the feeling before we actually start doing it. Okay. So come on in here and I might use that pillow, but put your hands on the outside of this. Maybe your feet are a little further back. Actually, you're tall. Actually, you're about the same height as him. So try putting your hands here. Okay. Now you want your back flat, and you want your shoulders if you can. So maybe keep going back until your shoulders are a little bit lower, and you're feeling it in your shoulders.
Oh,
And now, are you feeling it? Say here.
yeah.
Okay. Now, if you lose the feeling here, bend your knees a little bit and try to get again. What I find is I tend to get I feel it sort of coming in like this, along the shoulder blades, and the shoulder blades collapse in.
Does that feel good, babe?
Yes and no.
Okay, so come out of it for a second, and to come out of it, walk towards this. So let's come out and let's talk about where you're feeling it and where is it feeling good and where is it feeling bad.
It's like a good bad. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you're stretching a sore spot. You know?
That's exactly what it's going to feel like.
Yeah.
And so again, if you start getting burning bad.
It's not burning. It's more just like stretching a muscle. Like it's really sore in there.
Yeah, and so you probably hold tension there. This one is going to be a challenge for you, and that's fine. Do it for 2 minutes. We'll let it go, and then let's try to. So you want to try that one for 2 minutes? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now you should try this one as well. Actually, the first time I did it, this is where I was doing it. This is literally where I did it first. So Mike, go ahead and try it. So put your hands there on the couch, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to get your shoulders down a little bit until you feel it about here. Do you feel anything about there?
Yeah.
Okay, and remember, if you need to bend your knees, so you don't want anything in the lower back. So feeling it here is what you're looking for. Okay, cool. So go ahead and I'll go ahead and I'll watch the two of you rather than do it. I did this one last night, so I don't want to do it.
It's actually stretching my shoulder out too.
That's fine too. No, honestly, this one is good for. So depending on when. So again, I'm gonna coming in. You might feel it sort of here, like stretching here. I wouldn't be surprised if you feel it in your armpits, maybe a little bit, depending
my
on.
armpits. Well, that shoulder, I'm having issues with because I had surgery on.
Okay.
So it feels good to stretch it out like that.
Yeah, and again, it's the time thing. And when you get into any of these poses, it's okay if you feel it in the right spot, but you don't feel it very much. In fact, you probably don't want to feel it very much because you're going to be holding it for a long time. So just keep feeling that part of your body. So your thoracic spine between your shoulder blades, keep feeling that, focusing in on it, and see if you can relax it. Just let gravity do the work for you. You don't want to do any of the work. Remember, you're breathing into your stomach. Going a little bit over a minute so far. And remember, the longer you've been in this, the more you're going to have to probably walk your feet towards your hands to raise your shoulders when you come out of it. You don't want to use the muscles that you're relaxing to come out of the pose. You won't be, I'm not able to, you might be able to. Couple more breaths into your stomach. You've been going now for 2 full minutes. So maybe we should start thinking about coming out of this slowly. So slowly walk towards your feet. If you can. Try not to use your arms at all. It's really hard to do this. It's awkward. And then maybe lift yourself up. How do you feel? It's intense, isn't it? It's insane.
You feel heavy.
It feels heavy.
It is weird that you can't. muscles feel kind of like they don't want to work.
So
I feel
no,
my
no,
back
that's
feels good though.
I love this. It is a good kind of pain. I do love this, but it's really intense. And so one other thing, and I should have told you this ahead of time. I'm sorry, I should have told you this, but so anytime you're doing these kind of stretches, you want to do these last. Like, don't go and do heavy work after doing this for like a couple hours.
Just relax.
Just relax, because what's happening is I'm trying to stop this. It's going to be again. Go away. Okay. Mental note: don't use a new device the first time you're working with people. So you're doing something.
You feel stretched?
Yeah, how does that feel?
Yeah.
Also, especially after doing these poses, the thing I tend to do afterwards is I lie on my back on the floor, because you've been doing this with your spine. So if you look at the spine, like your spine is going like this over time, and so then what I will do is just lay on my back, and let the spine collapse into the floor. And your knees up here. This is actually probably good for that, because it'll make it a little bit easier. But I tend to sleep on my back, so this is not a comfortable floor to sleep on. But just trying to relax, but you can and just let the spine fall into the floor. This is really good for your spine as well. All right, so the whole thing here is relaxing.
That stretch, the first stretch would be to help my ribs.
Okay.
Because I broke my ribs, so my ribs I've been feeling it. I feel it right here now, and
So you're stretching the scar tissue probably,
they're not healed all the way yet.
but there's still scar tissue most likely starting to form, and that's why after open heart surgery they want you moving within like 12 hours, and the reason for that is if you don't move, the scar tissue gets really strong, and so you have to keep your body moving, or it's going to be debilitating. So the thing is though, I don't know. Before I started doing this stuff, my back was trash.
My back is trash.
And I don't have back problems anymore. I'm not saying it's going to fix your back problems, but most of my back problems were really tight muscles causing asymmetrical poses. So the thing about this stretching stuff is not. It actually maybe could fix some stuff, but that's not what we're trying to do. We're just trying to get back to basic. I'm gonna be able to sit comfortably on the chair and not have a freaking like numb leg. That's really what we're trying to do. You know what I mean, right? Because I used to have projections down like what's it called when you got some nerve
Sciatic.
yeah, sciatic bend down my left side. I still occasionally get it, but I don't get it nearly as much because I'm stretching my body. And also, when I started doing this, I couldn't sit like this comfortably. I could now it's no problem. It's because of these stretches. So, okay, I get pleasure from getting a new mop. So I've gotten to the point in my life where I got a new mop and I really like it. So I like things that just kind of work. And these poses, they're simple magic. They make my body a lot better. And hopefully, you get a sense of what you're doing. And you just did 5 minutes of stretching. You did 3 minutes on the first one, 2 minutes on the second one. And you can feel it, right?
Okay, I felt it. I felt that other one here in my, because this arm, like the last time you saw me, this is as far up as I can, and I've got pretty good movement out of it. And that stretch right there, now I get a pain when I do, so I lay on my side and I do these lifts right here, and I get a pain inside of my arm that shoots down my arm. And when I was doing that stretch, it felt like it, and the pain runs from here and it goes all the way to here.
Okay.
And that I was feeling not pain, but I was feeling where it hurts. I was feeling it stretch.
Okay, so put your hand like right around here. Okay, put your arm out and just rotate your hand and look, feel until you can find right there. Can you feel the motion in there? There's a ligament right here that actually. So in Tai Chi, when I fully engage my feet and I lock in my second bow, what actually happens is I can feel tension from here all the way up to here. That is, I can feel connection. And so when I keep my body that way, like my arms naturally go like this because the ligaments aren't engaged. So there's connection all the way down. So a lot of times what happens is the pain you're feeling here is because of somewhere else. Or you can't move this body part because of that muscle which causes this problem. So the reason you want to work across your body is because you might find that, oh, I loosened this, I loosened up my thoracic spine, and now I can engage my pelvic floor. My thoracic spine was stopping my pelvic floor. How the heck is that even? Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It was, and now it's not. So let's figure out some stuff that's going to make you feel better. And then the only problem with this stuff is you got to do it. So hopefully you feel like it's good enough to feel that it's worth doing.
Yeah, the one where you hang down and let your arms hang down. I do that at work all the time.
Okay, that's really good. And
Now I
actually,
do it like this,
yeah, no, this is
because that makes a huge difference. Like,
yeah.
well, at first I had my hands on the floor, and then I took my hands off the floor, and I started to actually feel more of it pull. And then as soon as I did this, it was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, that really felt good. I really felt it pull.
Yeah,
It
and
felt really good.
and if another thing you can do, like let's see, like, for example, you can't do it that way.
Oh, that's cool. We're gonna have to go get us a little bench like that.
The bench isn't important. I bought this for something entirely unrelated. It had been in the garage for 2 years, and I was like, holy shit, that bench is gonna be perfect for what I need. I use it all the time for my yoga. So yeah, I mean, I got that. I think that I got this is like a stool I got at Walgreens. Well, anyway, I will send you a link with some more stuff. But this was completely, off the cuff and random. But hopefully you got something out of it, and we'll do it again if you don't mind.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
No, thank you. You're welcome, and thank you because I've been doing these videos, and it turned out because I've been editing my videos, I've been listening to my own videos. I've actually learned a bunch of stuff. Because when I'm recording the videos, I don't plan it ahead of time. I just say whatever I've learned up to that point. And so I hear myself saying stuff that I've heard my Tai Chi person say or various yoga people say. So I don't even know what I'm saying. It just comes out. So by doing this, I'm going to get better at this as well. So thank you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like it, man. I really feel better. I see all your stuff, all your Tai Chi stuff, and you talk about transferring weight and things like that, and that kind of like makes me wonder, like, I wonder how I can make myself feel by stretching and doing all this stuff.
I can tell you that in my body, I don't feel like my body is ever an issue.
I'm wrecked.
But you can. So, like for example, ankles.
Of course,
I'm not going to suggest you do this pose right now, but there's one called pins and needles. Right, so your toes like this. You sit like this. That I don't know. I think those are the pins and these are the needles.
Obviously, I can't do that.
Well, I couldn't do this when I started either.
So this is the best I can do with my left arm. And that's farther. That's getting further. When I first
Okay.
came out of surgery, it was down to here.
So I'll tell you what.
So my right arm
Two things I would suggest for
is
you.
just from the surgery.
The second one we did, the wide dog, because that's going to loosen up here. And then also, this isn't in this, but have you ever do this? Get like a 1 gallon. 1 gallon is about 7 pounds. This is a little low, maybe on a kitchen counter, and then do this, hold it, and then and then just like we're doing here, let it just relax, just let it straight down. So let the weight of the jug just stretch your arm, and then maybe a little bit of like this. Right? So the only issue with that is if you're holding tight here, you're gonna have tightness up here. So honestly, if you can find like a wrist weight, so that you don't have to do anything to let the arm relax.
This is uncomfortable to do. Like if I do this and I lower it, I feel a pain from here that goes underneath here. That might just be because I have a screw. Let me show you what they did. So
Put my glasses on so I can see.
this phone was sticking up when I crashed, and they